Welcome. You have reached review time with Emperiol. Today's review will be Train to Busan 2 presents Peninsula. Let's get into it. Now, if you check my other review for Train to Busan, it's a subtitle zombie apocalypse film that I stumbled upon that I can see very well that they can take this film and Americanize it, and because the storyline is decent, Americanize it and bring it as an American zombie films. Now this is supposed to be part two. It's not really. Only thing that's part two about it is because they're saying it's part two. It's really not part two. It's supposed to be taking place 4 years after Train to Busan, and they mention Busan like on a TV show in the film, but it's really like the characters from part one is not really like it's not relation. At the end of part one, there was a mom pregnant, and then the little girl that survived, and her dad had passed. So you would have thought, well, only 4 years passed. The little girl would have been a little older, so you thought that maybe they would have tried to tie that in there, but they didn't. So I'm gonna just go over these actors' names just because. Dong Won Gang, he plays as Jeong-seok. That's the main character. And Young Lee plays as Min Jung. Ray Lee as Junie. Hey Hao Kwan as Old Man Kim. That's the grandpa. And that's pretty much the main characters. Now, I'm gonna go in when I go through here. I'm not gonna say these names because if you get mixed up and say, what the heck is he talking about? So the setting is, it starts off with the main character is driving his sister, her husband, and their son in a car. There's a couple on the side of the road, and the couple is the husband, and you see the mom with a baby. And they stop for a second, but then the main character keeps it pushing on them. They're on their way to get to a boat that's leaving South Korea, and the Americans is helping them leave on this ship. So I'm gonna call him Jung. The main character is Jung. So Jung gets to the boat, get his sister, her son, and the husband on the boat. They get into an area where they got just the refugees stand, and Jung is a military. He's a sergeant in the military. So one of his guys come to him and say, "Hey man, there's something going on. We ain't going to where we're supposed to be going to." So he leaves his sister and nephew there. The husband goes off, going for some like food supplies or whatever. He walks off. So when Jung goes up to the American soldiers and say, "Hey, what's going on?" They told him like basically you just catching a ride. You don't need to know jack, and you need to go back to where you was. Meanwhile, his guy come back to him and say, "Hey, we got a situation going on." So when he was leaving, one of the refugees was already starting to turn into a zombie, and the little boy was just looking. The sister was just floating, you know what I mean? And then nobody was reacting or whatever. Now, the one thing that do frustrate me with all of these zombies films, from Americanized to Asian zombie films, is that they make it modern, but they make it like, growing up as a little kid, we always seen zombie films. So to make it modernized and for people to act like people never know nothing about zombies, I think that's where they missed the buck at. You need to make a movie where they're hip. Everybody is hip to zombies. We done seen the movies, everything. We just never thought it could be real. And then it's actually real. And then now you gotta react. Let's see, does killing the brain help? You know what I mean? You're getting slow zombies or fast zombies. So you can still do all that, but just don't make it like they never seen this before. So nevertheless, the refuge was turning, and so by the time Jung, now the husband's name is Chum. So I'm gonna call him Chum. The husband's name is Chum. And so the brother makes it back. Jung makes it back. By the time he gets back, the zombie then ate a bunch of people, and they're all starting to turn. His sister's on the ground holding the son. The son's been bitten. The son is about to turn, and the sister won't leave. He's trying to pull her away. She won't leave. So the zombies start to turn. So he pulls his gun out. He's shooting them, but the sister don't want to leave. So the sister pretty much like, I'm going to die with my son. And then when the husband Chum comes back, Jung grabbed him like, "Oh, don't go in there." So he's screaming because he's seeing his wife and his son, Gary get attacked by zombies or turn to zombies, and it went off from there. And that was the end of that scene. And then it fast forward 4 years later. Now the setting is Hong Kong. Jung is no longer in the military, and Chum is kind of like, he's been kind of like shell shocked ever since his wife and son was in that situation, and he kind of like a drunk in a sense. And so Jung a fight. So you see him, he getting in a fight, beating a couple people up, and then they get into like this card game, and you got an American guy there who's saying, "Yo, back in Peninsula, we were trying to take money out of there, but our cargo got left, and it's a van over there with 20 million in cash. If y'all willing to go get it, I'll split it with y'all. But if y'all go over there, that y'all all on your own. Y'all gotta get in there, get the money, and make it back on your own. But I get y'all there, and I get y'all back. I give y'all satellite phones to make it." So it's this random guy and his mom. They're looking at a way out, and you got Chum, the brother and brother-in-law, and Jung, the main character. So you looking at this as a recipe to disaster. And so they like, forget it. They ain't got nothing to lose. They need money. The mom and son, they just there, but they going along because they're looking at this as our opportunity to live. We ain't never been rich before. So they get the satellite phones. The people tell them, "Hey, just don't hit us up until y'all get the money and y'all come back." So they get over there, they get dropped off, and instantly this town has really been deserted in a sense, but not. So you got people that's still there, but they're like, off in different areas. So they make it there, they make it to Jeong sees it's this big thing full of zombies. And of course at night the zombies can't see, so they're calmer at night. But this is 4 years later, so people are adapting to the situation. So the zombies turn, they go off when they see light or noise, and then they start moving off fast when they see light or noise. So Chung see this big glass of zombies, and they're just in there chill. They can't really see what's going on or whatever. So it's at nighttime. They make it to the truck, get the truck, see the money. Now they're driving the truck, and out of nowhere, they see some flares get shot. Now the flares is to distract them or whatever. So when they get distracted, they start trying to peel out. And when they peel out, a militia called Unit 631 cut them off. And at that moment, Jung gets ejected from the car. He's on the ground. He's knocked out at the time. He got like a little slight concussion. and his brother-in-law slips in the back where the money at in the truck, and he hides out there. The mom and the son thought they was going to get loose. They thought it was all sweet. The mom gets killed instantly by the zombies, and then the militia group pulls up like, yo, and the guy, the son, he was saying, hey man, help me, and they killed him or whatever. And so they took the truck and just rolled back to where the militia's compound is. Meanwhile, Jung was ready to get chewed up by some zombies, and this car comes out of nowhere and helps him. And it's a teenage girl in the car and a little girl in the car or whatever. And so he's in the back seat, and he, like I said, he got a concussion. He fades out. Meanwhile, you introduce this teenager, don't want to say her name, but the teenager and the little girl. So the little girl, let's just say the little girl is 9 or 10, teenagers relatively anywhere between 15 and 17, somewhere in that range. So she's driving, and she go whip this car. So she's driving this car. She getting around, and the little girl is smart. So they run into a pack of zombies. Now keep in mind, this is 4 years into it, and people have adapted. So the little girl has like a remote control car that she takes, and it lights up. So that's going to attract the zombies, and she uses that remote control car to get the zombies to clear the path, and the zombies end up going somewhere else. Meanwhile, they can get through the path now. They finally get back home, and Jung finally comes to. So now when they get home, they got their mom there and the mom's dad. So they got grandpa there. So Grandpa Kim, he has like a satellite where he's been just reaching out to different people, and he has reached out to this person he been in contact with named Major Jane, that's saying, we're gonna come for you. So Grandpop's whole mission through this film is like, yo, I'm gonna get my granddaughters off this island or this area and get them to safety. You know what I'm saying? Major Jane's gonna come. And so they kind of look at Grandpa like, yeah, whatever, Major Jane is a joke. Nobody's never coming to help us. So basically when Jung comes in, he's telling them, listen, this militia group took my brother, and he tells them the whole spiel about the money, and I could get y'all off this island or whatever. But he don't know his brother is still alive at the time. So he's like, I just got to get to that truck with the money and get the satellite phone. So the mom, she escaped from that militia, so she knows the ins and outs. So she like, well, this is our way out, and we're gonna go get it. And Grandpa Kim is he's standoffish, but he like, all right, we gotta take a chance. So they tell the daughter, the teenager, take the little one, y'all stay in the car with the grandpa, and y'all wait here. If I don't come back, roll off or whatever. So Jung and the mom goes into the militia camp. Meanwhile, when the militia camp arrives at the back with the van, they still don't know there's money in there. So they open up the back of it, and pretty much they see Chum, and they tell Chum like, well, Chum's like, yo man, you know what I mean, I can get us off this island. They telling Chum like, whatever man, you grade B to the cattle. So they have, the militia group is like, they got a sergeant and a captain. Now the sergeant's an a-hole. He's pretty much in events for the crew. So they got regular people that they find that they call randoms or stragglers, that they number them and then put them in a area where it's a bunch of water and let the zombies come out. And if you can survive not getting eaten by the zombies, then you live for another day or whatever. So that's what's happened with Chum. So Chum survives, and there's a sergeant and a captain. And the captain, he has like a straggler. He's with the militia, but he got a disability, so they kind of like joke with him. He's the guy that takes all the cargo, anything they retrieve, and see what's good and what's not. So he's the one. He finds the money. He reaches out to he doesn't tell the sergeant that I said is crazy that, yo, I found this money. He tells the captain. The captain like, yeah. So when the captain look at the money, he find inside there's a satellite phone. Now there was two satellite phones. Jung had one and Chum had one, and I said Chum slipped in where the money was. So he left the satellite phone in there or whatever. So Jung doesn't know. Him and the girl on their way back into that militia camp, and Jung told her, yo, the satellite phone is in the front seat or whatever. So the captain hooks up the satellite phone and reaches out, and so the person that's at the port waiting for them is basically like, yo, I don't care who bring the money back. As long as you bring my money, we gonna go or whatever. So I don't care who it is. So now the captain mission is, how can I get this money out of here without the sergeant knowing or whatever. So him and the other straggler guy, they devise a plan how they gonna get going. Meanwhile, you have Jung and the mom slip in, and they run into the captain. They see the cargo. They get the satellite phone, and the captain knows the girl, and so he tries to ends up shooting the girl in the leg. Well, no, he tries to slip on the girl, and she end up knocking him out. And so they end up at that point. They end up get ready to take off in the car. I mean, in the van where the money was, and they find out that Chum is still alive. So Jung like, I gotta go get him. So they in that big arena where you got the sergeant and his crew, and letting the stragglers get chased by the zombies, and Chum was about to get eaten, and Jung comes, shoot the zombie, and then the sergeant like, oh no, go get the guns. And so a big chaos is starting to happen. So on their way trying to fight out, Jung is in fighting with the militia plus fighting with zombies. He's getting attacked. He ready to go down. And then finally, like I said, Chum was like hesitant on, like he was messed up. He wouldn't fight. So finally he snapped out of it, grabbed a gun, shot everything out, and helped out Jung. But then the sergeant that I said was crazy, he ended up killing Chum. And then Jung seen it and was kind of stuck. The mom came busting through with the car, with the van full of money, and helped them out and told them snap out of it. They know to get going. Now at this point, you have Jung and the mom in the van in the car, and you have the sergeant and his crew chasing them. Then you have the teenage girl, little daughter, and the grandpa. And so I said the captain, he got hit on the head. So when he got hit on the head, you thought he was out, but he basically know where the port is. So, and while all of them is chasing, the sergeant and his crew chasing Jung and the mom and the little girl and the teenager in the car, he's going a whole new different route to meet them at the port. So while they all driving fast, going through all this, the teenage girl, she whipping this thing. They took Tokyo Drift page out of Tokyo Drift. This little teenage girl, she is whipping this car, whatever kind of car it is. She's whipping it, doing drifting moves with the zombies, spinning her car around and all that. Yo, she's getting busy. Meanwhile, Jung and them is having a war fight while the other cars is chasing. So this is a big scene right here. They're chasing the van with all these militia shooting at, and the zombies is coming, flying out of here, coming out of nowhere. Eventually, they end up breaking loose. And I remember I mentioned Jung seen a glass full of zombies. So Jung ended up on their way back, shot that glass out, and that took care of the last bit of militia that was chasing them. So they think they're in the clear now. The teenage girl that I said was whipping, she's ahead of them, and out of nowhere, bam, she gets hit. She gets hit by the captain. So he got a gun to her head. basically like I kill her. So now Grandpa grabs uh the little girl, and he grabs the little girl, and so you got Jung and the mom, and they in a standoff with him. So he telling them to put the guns down. They put the guns down, and so the little girl has her little remote control. So she uses her remote control to distract the captain guy. It distracts him, and then he gets pissed off, and he turns his gun to the little girl, and the grandpa grabs and shields the little girl. Now at this time, as soon as he turned, that should have been enough time for Jung and the mom to pick the gun up and get busy on him or whatever. But he got a couple shots off, shot the grandpa Kim or whatever, and then he managed to get another shot off. Got another shot off and shot the mom in the leg. So at this moment, they had already notified the people at the port, like, yo, we on our way. You know what I'm saying? And so the captain managed to get in the van and drive off with the money. So he makes it to the port, and you thinking like, oh shit, he you know, get off. So he shows up in there like, yo, you know what I mean? He shows up like, yo, what's I'm here, I arrived. And then they said, so they asked like, where's the money? And he said, in the back. So the people there end up killing him, but in the process of killing him, he was still kind of alive, had like with his last breath. So he put the car in reverse and pressed on the gas. Meanwhile, what that did was it alerted zombies to where they was at, and then the van backed up, and all these zombies rushed in and killed everybody in there, so they died. So at the last hope, this helicopter came out of nowhere, and the Grandpa Kim is dying. They sitting there all there in front of Grandpa. This helicopter come out of nowhere. So the mom tells the teenage girl, take your sister and y'all go catch that helicopter. And they had like firecrackers and stuff. So they up there trying to notify the helicopter. So the mom told Jung, hey, listen, you need to go make sure my daughters get safe and get on that helicopter or whatever. Meanwhile, the mom is wounded with a bad leg, and of course, Grandpa Kim is dying or whatever. So she pretty much shoot Grandpa Kim or whatever, so that he don't turn. And then she's trying to make it behind them. So now they're all running. They can see the mom hobbling, trying to get there. So the zombies, it's starting to be daybreak. So the zombies are starting to come out and start to see them running. So they're all shooting. So the mom is shooting the path in front of them so they can make it. And come to find out, the person on the helicopter is Major Jane or whatever. So the mom sees a van and pretty much was like, I'm not gonna make it. I got a bad leg. She jumps in the van, so she burps the horn on the van. That draws the attention of the zombies. That gives them the pass to get there. So they're on there sitting there, and Major Jane like, come on, your mom, you know, we gotta go. Your mom's making a sacrifice for y'all. So the teenage girl like, nah, bump that. Like, y'all gotta help her. And so Jung is sitting there with the little girl. The teenager got the Major Jane at gunpoint. And so Jung has a flashback. The mom is going to like commit suicide. Like, basically, I ain't gonna go out like this. And so Jung has a flashback that he really never helped people, because Chum had a conversation with him, basically like, you kind of selfish, you don't help nobody and stuff like that. And so Chum at that point had Jung had that flashback, and so now he said to the little girl, your uncle is gonna save your mom. So he runs back and he's shooting out the zombies, and they tell the mom like, come on, we're gonna make a run for it. So she shoots her way out and he's helping her shoot out. So all you see the mom coming, and they end up all basically getting on the plane, and it kind of like goes off like that with them on the plane. They got the mom hooked up to IVs and stuff, and it leaves like a path that this could be a part 3, but hopefully part 3 ties into them and it doesn't start with a whole nother cast, like, you know, like from part 1. So other than that, it's a okay watch. It could have been better. Out of my 4-star rating system, I want to give this movie a 2 out of 4 stars. It was okay, but it wasn't better than part 1. Subscribe to the channel and like the video. Till next time.